What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, we got some new rumors for Scream 7 to talk about. Now, I kind of pick and choose, right? Like when I want to swoop in and discuss these rumors, it tends to be, at least recently, the things that really feel impactful, right? Like I can really have a discussion about. So this rumor is pretty cool. So I saw this from Scream News, which is a great Twitter handle, and they were kind of going off of Daniel RPK, which is a pretty trustworthy source, right? It's kind of why I want to do this video. Not that others aren't. Like Critical Overlord, we talk, like behind the scenes. So it's not like I don't trust him, but for this Daniel RPK, he's in the know. This is again for me an impactful kind of leak where it's like, yeah, this can lead to theories. This can lead to kind of some serious discussion. So let's read out what he said. They're looking to cast Sydney's 2 kids. It seems like the movie will focus on Sydney's family as all 4, her, Mark, her husband, and 2 kids as are listed as leads. There are other lead characters that are teens and adults. And, there's been, I guess besides this, right, if you're wondering, is there anything else that's been happening Scream-wise? Very much looks like the summer, right? So we're going to have to keep our eyes on. I'm sure the summer will bring us plenty of Scream videos as we see the filming and have our theories and discussion. Now, as to this, I would say pretty darn impactful, right? Because it kind of leads you down a couple different avenues, right? So like Mark continues to get more and more like injected in this thing. I've seen discussion of like, do you have to kill him? And I've seen a lot of people say like, yeah, like he would be a character that would be murdered. I'm sure we'll have this discussion as time goes on and, have it again. I don't know how I feel about that. I understand why you would need to have like an impactful death. To have Sydney, like we've always talked about, you can't kill her. And Neve wouldn't come back if you would kill her either, right? So, like, you are stuck. I think you're stuck in a good way. I don't want Sydney dying anyway. But, okay, well, this true happiness thing with her married and with kids. You look at Scream 5 and even Scream 6 with her not being in it. She's married with, you would say, like, the love of her life, and she's got 2 daughters, okay? Fine, like fantastic. Once you tell a story with them, while it makes sense to involve a family dynamic and maybe they're going after the kids and Sydney has to step in or whatever, you are rolling the dice on you have to eliminate one. You can't kill children. You can't kill Sydney. There's only one other person. So while we've always, again, talked about the Sydney aspect to it, the Mark thing is like, well, you're gonna ruin that. You're gonna ruin as in this happiness that Sydney has built. You're gonna have to kill off her loved one. That's rough, and I really don't know how I feel about that. That's something that we will discuss as they probably start filming. Maybe like when the trailers come out. You can't make him the killer, and then you probably have to kill him. So you're kind of between a rock and a hard place right now. All right, so you have that. The children part, that's another kind of discussion. Very interesting. So it's going to be interesting. I think one of the biggest things that's going to stand out to people and be like a talked about subject, when does the movie take place in the timeline? Because we've always gone forward in time. It's always been chronological. It's always been in one timeline. You're not doing like alternate, universes or anything. When does this take place? Because now, look, if you jump ahead, it's still in the same timeline, but you just did the Sam and Tara thing. And the kids, now, like, they're in the stroller. So you would imagine they'd be pretty young, but yet again, I believe she mentions in that scene that she's, like, taking them to school. So they might be 3-4 years old, right? I mean, 4 years old is when you start pre-K. So, yeah, I mean, you imagine maybe 4 at the oldest is how old, her kids are. Like, this is where you kind of have to go. If the kids are leads, I mean, yeah, you can have 7, 8, 9-year-old actors. Now, you're banking on them doing good performances, so you do have to be careful there. But you're going to have to jump quite a bit. Scream 6 happens, I believe, in the timeline around 6 or so months right after Scream 5. You can't have it take place there. And I know, there was the kind of speculation or kind of theories that people wanted where, hey, could you tell a Sydney story that was happening at the same time, parallel to the Scream 6 story? I actually really like that idea. Now, you wouldn't be able to have Gail, and, Courtney's going to come back, as we've heard, right? So you're going to have to do it after Scream 6. But if you're making these kids leads in any sense, like where they're going to have dialogue, literal lines, you're going to have to make them 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and which means you're going to have to jump, say, 5 years ahead. Now, it's not the biggest deal, I guess, for Sydney and for Neve Campbell, but I don't know. Then you think about like the Tara and Sam thing, and if that were to ever resolve itself in the future, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's kind of just weird. I guess all it really does is if you ever were to do Sam and Tara in the future, you would have to jump, say, 5 to 10 years after Scream 6. Like, you just have to do that, which maybe they would want to do that anyway. So, I don't know. Maybe that's just like a mental block that I have to get through myself, but you can, of course, let me know in the comments. But that would be, I like the idea. I like the idea because, having older-ish kids that can act and can talk. I mean, as we talked about, with the Mark thing, like, they can be leads, they can have dialogue, they can be in distress. Now, again, you cannot take them out. It's a situation where Ghostface would come after them and Sydney has to step in. So, I mean, it makes sense. Like, it's a reason why Sydney would have to combat Ghostface. It would be within the lineage, right? Somebody wants her, and so they're going to go after her kids. It all makes sense. It definitely makes sense. So, I don't know. I decently like it. I'm intrigued by it. I definitely want to know, again, where in the timeline this will fall or how, long it's been since Scream 6, probably specifically. I'd also like to know, the Mark thing is a little worrying, and it probably just leads to discussions of, like, is it necessary, right? Because, like, if you ruin her happiness, which, it seems like at least for a part of time you probably would, then you have the question of, like, why you have to step into the lore and dismember it. Now, again, like, people have been calling for it. I've said, like, I want Sydney's story to continue. So I guess maybe some people asked for this, including myself. But it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. So let me know what you guys think, as always, in the comments. We'll still be here to chat. And like I said, I think as we get closer to June, July, we're going to have quite a few conversations we're going to need to have. So thank you, as always, for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.